The airport security line at LaGuardia moved like molasses at 11:32 p.m. Sarah Chen stood quietly, her worn duffel bag slung over her shoulder, dressed in faded jeans and an old hoodie. Dark circles shadowed her eyes, the kind that came from missions measured in sleepless nights, not delayed flights. "Next," barked Officer Reynolds, a heavy-set man whose badge gleamed under the fluorescent lights. He'd been working since 3:45 p.m., and his patience had expired hours ago. Sarah placed her bag on the conveyor belt and walked through the metal detector. The machine remained silent, but Reynolds' eyes narrowed as he studied the X-ray monitor. Something about this woman bothered him. Maybe her too calm demeanor. Maybe the calluses he'd noticed on her hands. "Ma'am, we need to search your bag," he announced loudly, loud enough to draw attention from the dozen tired travelers behind her. "Of course," Sarah replied evenly, her voice soft but steady. Reynolds pulled her duffel onto the steel table with unnecessary force. His partner, Officer Martinez, glanced over with mild interest. They'd been looking for a big bust all week, something to justify their overtime, to prove they were more than minimum-wage obstacle creators. "What's the purpose of your travel?" Reynolds demanded, unzipping the bag with theatrical suspicion. "Visiting family," Sarah said simply. He pulled out neatly folded clothes, running his hands along the seams. Then his fingers found something hard wrapped in a t-shirt. His eyebrows shot up as he unwrapped it. A knife, military grade, the kind that had seen use. Beside it, he discovered a compass, a water purification kit, paracord, and a small first aid pouch that looked too professional for a civilian. Well, Reynolds said, his voice dripping with manufactured authority. "Planning a camping trip or something more interesting?" Martinez stepped closer now, her hand instinctively moving toward her radio. Other passengers craned their necks to see what was happening. Sarah's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. "That equipment is legal to pack in checked luggage." "Which is where it was. Survival gear, military-grade knife, medical supplies." Reynolds counted off, his voice rising. "You want to explain why you're traveling with a tactical kit?" "I'm a survivalist. It's a hobby," Sarah replied, though her tone had cooled several degrees. "Sure it is," Reynolds sneered. He was on a roll now, imagining the commendation, the story he'd tell at the bar. "Martinez, call the supervisor. I think we've got ourselves a situation here." "That won't be necessary." A deep voice cut through the tension like a blade. Everyone turned. 4 men in casual civilian clothes approached the checkpoint, moving with the kind of coordinated purpose that made Reynolds' confidence waver. They weren't flashy, weren't threatening, but something about the way they carried themselves made the air feel heavier. The lead man, tall with steel-gray hair and eyes that had seen too much, stopped at the checkpoint. His 3 companions fanned out slightly, their positioning too perfect to be accidental. "There a problem here?" the gray-haired man asked, his gaze fixed on Sarah with unmistakable recognition. Reynolds puffed up his chest. "Sir, this is a security matter. I need you to step back." The man reached into his wallet and placed an ID on the table. Reynolds picked it up, his face going pale as he read it. Martinez leaned over, her eyes widening. "Master Chief Petty Officer James Riker, United States Navy SEALs," the man said quietly. He gestured to his companions. "These are my teammates." Sarah's expression remained neutral, but something flickered in her eyes, gratitude mixed with embarrassment. "Commander," Riker said, his voice filled with respect as he met Sarah's gaze. "We weren't expecting to run into you here." The word hung in the air like thunder. "Commander." Reynolds' hands began to shake as he looked between them. "Commander?" One of Riker's teammates, a younger man with a scar along his jawline, stepped forward. "Commander Chen led the operation that pulled our entire unit out of Syria last year. We'd all be dead if not for her. The hostage extraction at 2:23 a.m. on December 8th. Another SEAL added, his voice thick with emotion. 6 hours behind enemy lines. She took shrapnel to the leg and still carried our injured radio man 3 miles to the extraction point. Sarah's cheeks flushed. "Gentlemen, that's not necessary." "Yes, it is," Riker said firmly. He turned to Reynolds, whose face had gone from red to white to an unfortunate shade of green. Commander Chen is one of the most decorated naval officers in active service. She's been on assignments I can't tell you about in places that don't exist on maps, doing things that ensure people like you can sleep safely at night. Martinez had already begun carefully repacking Sarah's belongings, her hands moving with newfound respect. Reynolds stood frozen, his mouth opening and closing like a fish. I didn't know, Reynolds stammered. The equipment, the knife? You thought you'd found an easy target, Riker interrupted, his voice hard now. Someone who wouldn't fight back. Someone quiet. Sarah placed a gentle hand on Riker's arm. Master Chief, it's all right. He was doing his job. With respect, Commander, no, he wasn't, Riker replied. His job is security, not harassment. The airport supervisor arrived, breathless, having been summoned by the commotion. After a hurried explanation and profuse apologies, Sarah's bag was returned to her, properly repacked. As she hoisted it onto her shoulder, Riker stepped close. Permission to buy you a coffee, Commander? Our flight's not for another hour. Sarah smiled, a real smile that transformed her tired face. Permission granted, Master Chief, but only if you stop calling me Commander. I'm on leave. Can't do that, ma'am. One of the younger SEALs grinned. You earned that title in blood. It doesn't take vacations. As they walked away together, Reynolds sank into his chair, his hands still trembling. Martinez watched them go, then turned to her partner. You know what I've learned tonight? She said quietly. The most dangerous people in any room are usually the quietest ones. And real heroes don't wear their medals to the airport. Reynolds didn't respond. He was too busy watching Commander Sarah Chen laugh at something one of her team said, surrounded by the men who knew exactly who she was and what she was capable of.